Recording in progress.
Good morning, Kristen. How are you?
Erica, I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. I am so excited to do this little conversation with you. I was just telling you before I hit record that my team and I are just so excited about everything that you've been through this whole transformation from like coming into Soul Business Accelerator with a full-time job and your business on the side. And there was like this, I remember being on a Q&A call with you and you were like, I think I'm quitting my job and I think I'm going to do this on my own. And all of a sudden the next week or 2 weeks later, you had quit your job and your business was like almost fully booked. And it's just been such a cool experience and such a fun journey for us to witness because it's everybody's dream to be able to quit their job and work for themselves. And you've gone and done it. So I really love your story and just want to be able to inspire other women who are in your shoes or where you were, thinking that, maybe it's not possible to do this full time. It's always so helpful to hear inspirational stories like yours. So thank you for sharing.
Absolutely. It is a wild ride. Being an entrepreneur is so fun. But gosh, every day there's something to learn every single day.
Same. Girl, the last year has been at such the biggest learning curve for me too. It's like new level, new devil always. So whenever you think that you're just settling in, like something comes and just kind of wake up. Nope, nope, nope. But why don't you tell us what it is that you do? What is your business?
Yeah, so I am offering marketing support for small business owners, mostly for people who can't afford an agency. And so I have a really deep network of, small business owners that I know, but also just marketing experts and people.
Amazing.
And so I'm kind of thinking of it a little bit like Angie's List, but for small business.
Yeah. Oh
So
my gosh, how cool is that?
creating a network where small business owners can reach out and get answers to questions that they need. I also have like a DIY marketing kit that small businesses can purchase to promote products in their store so they don't have to do everything from scratch. They just have to plug and play.
Oh,
And then I do have some, just a small number of clients that I'm doing full-time marketing for, like fractional CMO work.
great. Amazing. Yeah. So let's talk about that transition and how you sort of went from full-time job to full-time client. So when you came into SBA, you were still working a full-time job, right?
Yes, yes. And I had planned to do financial consulting for small businesses. That was something that I learned a lot about in my last position, and that was my plan. And anytime I would reach out to my network, people would say, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's great, but can you help me with my website?" Or, "Oh, yeah, that's great, but can you help me with social media?" And these were people who weren't able to afford the services for the company that I was working at. And so there was a gap in the market. And I remember Erica asking you, like, what do I say when these people say, hey, yeah, that's great, but can you do this that's not in my niche? And you said, as an entrepreneur, a lot of times you say yes and you
Yep.
figure.
Yes, and figure it out 100%. As long as it's something that you feel aligned, like, yes, I want to do this also, then yes, and I'll figure it out.
Yes, and it has just doing that, saying yes and being open to, because I said no for a really long time to a lot of things, but saying yes has just opened up and people are coming out and being so supportive and so kind and they want to work with us. And just the cheerleaders that have come out from behind the scenes, it's been an amazing journey.
And I don't know if I'm remembering this right. Didn't you just have a $15,000 month?
Yes.
Oh, yes, that is so awesome. Congratulations, Kristen. What was the tipping point for you, do you think? Like, what was it literally just finally saying yes and being committed to taking on these clients? Or like, what was the tipping point that let you go from full-time job and working in my business, sort of, to letting go of the full-time job and now working full-time in my business? How did that happen?
Right. So I was pouring everything that I had into my former job. Everything, working, 50, 60-hour weeks. And it felt like I was like in a hamster wheel, like running and running and running, but things weren't changing and things weren't getting better. And, it would be two steps forward and then five steps back. And it just, one day I decided, well, what if I started pouring some of that energy into myself? And so, tried to set healthier boundaries at work. And it goes beyond just the business. I started eating better. I started taking care of my health, started spending quality time with my family at night instead of trying to scramble. And really it was just saying yes to the opportunities that as they came along. Um, that's really what made a difference is setting those boundaries. And now I'm still running super fast and still working super hard, but I see progress, and it's my business. And so I get to
Totally.
see how it's growing and changing, and I can say yes to what I want to do and I can say no to what I don't want to do.
Yes.
And that part has been really fun.
That I think is a switch that we all have to make. And I remember when I was working full time also, and I was pouring all of my energy into my full time job. And I think the coach I was working with at the time said, start to energetically pull back from that job and put your energy towards your business. And it sounds like that's kind of what you did. And there is something that switches when we make our business more of a priority and not a side hustle or hobby, but it becomes a priority. And it doesn't mean you slack off in your job, but it's like your energy is shifted over here.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I think I used to have blinders on and I could only see what was relevant to my job. But once I took those off and I could see that there were so many other opportunities and places um, that I could pour into, then that really made a big difference.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. What do you think was, I mean, how did most of the clients start coming to you? How have you gotten most of your clients?
So that is, I mean, word of mouth. It's
Yeah, it's always
it's really
so great.
it
Yeah.
is one thing that you teach is that you start with your internal network. And I actually had somebody to reach out to me and say, "Hey, this is what I want to do. I need somebody to do my marketing." And again, said no for months, no for months, but then finally said, "Okay, yeah, let's figure out how we can make this happen." And I talk about one of the cheerleaders from the sidelines. Then he's telling everybody under the sun, "Hey, this is a great place to." And I don't know, that like to believe in yourself is hard, but then when other people believe in you and they're cheering you on, it's been wild. It's been very fulfilling.
Amazing. Yeah. And then it's like you're building your dream and not somebody else's dream.
Yes.
For sure. What would be your tips, or maybe just one or two of your pieces of advice for women who are still at their full-time job? They're just starting their business. They're kind of looking at it like, is this going to work? Is it not? Can I really do this? What would be a couple of pieces, words of wisdom that you might have for them?
Yeah. So the first thing I did is I scheduled time with myself to work on my business.
Yes. Oh my gosh. That is so important.
And I kept it. It was very important. And so sometimes, the whole family's, doing a project in the yard, and I was sitting in here and working on my business. It was a priority to get things done. And so, setting those appointments and then keeping them
Yeah.
was the first thing. And the second thing that I really learned is I have to put myself out there.
Yeah, that's hard. That's where people get stuck, and that's what the point where either people are going to make it or they're not. And the people who can get over themselves and really put themselves out there are the ones that are going to make it, you know? So like how did you get over that hump and how did you become okay with that?
It was a Q&A call. I was
It
talking,
was okay inside
um,
of SBA. Yeah.
yes, with Erica G. And I was telling her, I don't even remember the question that I had. But she said, "Well, you either have a time management problem or you're not putting yourself out there." And I don't think it's a time management problem. And I went, "Ooh,
Go, Erica.
I think," and it was exactly what I needed to hear at exactly the right time. And it just lit a switch.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I actually didn't know that. That's really cool. That's amazing. Well, that's where people ask me that too, is like, what is the difference between people who make it and people who don't? And it's that right there. It's people who can push through the uncomfortableness and the imposter syndrome and the fear of rejection and whatever. We all have to do it. We all have to get over it and do it. And I think that's the biggest difference is people who can do that, you're going to make it. And people who get just too afraid and they can't make that step, like, sadly they're not, you know, because you can't, nobody knows who you are and what you offer. Nobody's going to buy what you have, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Oh, I love that so, so, so much. Is there anything else that you'd want to share that you think would be really helpful for women?
This community has been really nice. It's been like the Q&A calls are so good, and it's helped keep me on track and helped keep me accountable to, like, this is something in January, I think is when I signed up, that I knew I wanted to do. And but it's so easy, especially like in the new year, you have all this energy to do something new. It's easy to have it kind of fall off the radar. But I've been able to stick with it because of the community. The investment was very much worth it.
Oh, great. That makes me so, yeah, I was gonna ask you that. Like if someone were thinking of joining SBA, what would you say to them? But yeah, it's so helpful, I think, to have a community of women where you're all kind of doing this together. Because when you're in your own personal world, I mean, I didn't have any entrepreneurial friends. I didn't have any family who were entrepreneur. Everyone just thought I was kind of crazy. And like, why don't you have stick to your real job, Erica? It's safe. And when you're all of a sudden in a community where a little bit of craziness becomes the norm, like you have a passion, you have a purpose, you want to start this business, yeah, it's so helpful to, I think, be around other people where it's just the norm.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, where can people find you? Tell us where we can find you. We can come look you up. Obviously, when we put this on our YouTube, we'll put your website down in there as well, but share it with us now if you could.
Yeah. So my website is profitroadmaps.com. And I had a site up and then switched gears, and so I'm changing it all up. But yeah, that would be the best way to reach out to contact me and see what all we do.
Yeah, I think that's great. Kristan's amazing. So anyone watching this, definitely go ahead and reach out to her. Thank you so much for being here. We love having you. We love you inside the program. We've loved your journey. It's been so fun. And we're so proud that you're now a full-time business owner and you have officially left the corporate world forever.
I have, and it's amazing. I hope I never, ever, ever go back.
You won't. Keep your eyes forward. That's my thing, is like there is no plan B. There is no plan B. Burn all bridges behind, Kristan.
Yeah, there you go.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Erica.